Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Bricker Boom, and we're back with another episode of Pokemon by Daylight. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different because we ended up recording this when I was doing my 2 year stream anniversary on Twitch, and we actually let chat get involved and kind of do things and be able to help us actually decide the team. The format of the video is going to remain the same. However, while the backstories are being read, things like that, you may see me reading chat. I did definitely make sure if there were like sound alerts or things like that played to go ahead and cut those out. We're still going to be doing this the same way. It just may look a little bit different than normal. But let's go ahead and hop into it. This time around, we are going to be covering Gabriel, Ash, and Laurie. Now, what we're going to try to do as we go into different survivors is go ahead and have people that main them on their channel or during us playing actually go ahead and read the stories. So this time, Ash is actually going to be read by, instead of Aaron, the baby rhino. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when it was just him and I, we struggled a little bit, so we were very thankful to have Aaron back. With Ash, we're gonna go ahead and, as always, hop into the backstory. I do want to, again, just give a quick shout out to the baby rhino. Links will be below. This is the main character that he typically very much likes to play when we're playing DBD. So make sure to go ahead and follow him, give him a shout out, call him Grandpa or Garlic Daddy. Really, either work. He's flexible. And here we go. We can do Ash first to go ahead and see how Rhino performs with a character that he loves.
No pressure, no pressure. I'm just gonna critique you every second.
No, that's fine.
Yo, motherfucker, there was that one time I had to do it, and guess what? Somebody lost the footage.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no proof.
Because you lost the footage.
You can't prove it.
Because it's gone, and that's annoying. During a weekend at a cabin with his friends, Ash Williams uncovered the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, also known as the Book of the Dead, and awoke something dark in the woods. Evil possessed his friends, whom he was forced to kill, and his right hand, which he sawed off, and later replaced with a puppet. We love that little ashy slashy man. It also has a metal hand too, but that's besides the point. The puppets are great. For the next 30 years, Ash ran from his past, working at a value stop department store and seducing women in dive bars. But he screwed up one night while being high when he read from the Necronomicon to impress a woman. He found him once more wrecking the life of those around him. But his co-workers, Pablo, who was raised by a shaman, and Kelly, who was orphaned by the Deadites, helped him put up a fight while battling evil. Well, Ash was reunited with his long-lost daughter, Brandy, who encouraged him to embrace his role as savior of humanity. After a terrible fight with a fully formed demon, Ash, drawing his last breath, was taken by the Knights of Sumeria and transported to the future. Now this is where it starts to get a little wild. Ash wakened to a voice, his head throbbing. Since defeating a gang of Deadites a week ago, he had been in a perpetual state of hangover.
Mood.
He heard the voice once more, a woman singing, sensually and inviting.
Are we gonna be here all day?
Stepping into the corridor in his boxers, he strode towards the voice, which led to the locker room. As Ash pushed open the door, the singing stopped. There was a rustling of curtains. He called out, entering the change room, reaching a shower that was still dripping wet, cold. Humid fingers ran down his bare back, and he turned around. A woman stood, naked, her skin glistening in the morning light that streamed from the high windows. Ash recognized her instantly. Linda Emery, one of his former high school flings. They had gotten back together years later while saving their home from the evil. He had ended things soon afterwards, preferring to indulge freely in his newfound popularity. And
Also
my
mood.
God. My God. It's Bruce Campbell. You can't help it, right?
Yes.
Even if it's Ash Williams, it's Bruce. A sharp blade dug into his hand, making him jump back. Linda slid a finger across the edge of her blade, collecting Ash's blood on her fingertip. She smiled and her skin shriveled. Her hair faded. Her shoulders stopped. Her curves sagged. Aging, decades older in a matter of seconds, she attacked Ash, who poorly managed to block being half naked.
As you do.
It's so Ash. You fucking idiot. Every blow she delivered earned him a new wound. She slashed his bad knee and he fell over. As she jumped on top of him, Ash shrieked in disgust, knocking a knife out of her grasp. Her varicose hands wrapped around his neck, strangling him. Gasping, he outstretched his arm, hand landing on a soap dispenser. He spurted out some liquid on his fingers and poked her in the eyes.
He three-stooged her.
Yes! The elderly woman winced, weakening her hold, and Ash elbowed her in the face, knocking her back. He rolled over and grabbed the knife on the floor, and just as he was about to plant it in her chest, he stopped. There was something else he wanted more. He pressed the blade against her throat. Let's make a deal, demon. In exchange for not killing you, you portal me back to my friends. The demon agreed. She began reciting the incantation, instructing Ash to repeat after her, which he failed to manage because he's so fucking stupid.
So, is he a himbo?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
fair enough.
It gets worse here. When nothing happened, Ash threatened the demon, who argued back, blaming his poor pronunciation. Their combined exchange of Sumerian words triggered a hiss from the shower behind them. The wet tiled floor darkened, the pipes burst, a whirlpool of dirty water, shower curtains, and used toilet paper swallowed the demon. While Ash held onto the locker door, which slowly slipped from his fingers. Ash landed flat on his chest in the realm of the entity, sputtering grass. He got up, brushing off the dry clothes he suddenly had on. Then he looked around and his grin fell. It was the kind of place that made two things obvious. One, there wasn't any bar for miles. And two, he was going to need his shotgun and chainsaw, both of which he lacked. As he started to walk towards the glinting light ahead, a scream rippled through the trees. Groovy. Ash Williams is a lone wolf, cocky and headstrong, a man built for survival and a lot of drinks.
So with Ash, I think the best team that would work for him would be Parasect, due to it being dead and possessed like Pokemon. Honedge, due to the fact that he has a chainsaw, and according to chat, a sword is just a chainsaw that isn't moving. I do not think they have a weapons degree or anything like that, but at that point, we were about 10 hours into a stream, and I was just too tired to argue that one. Halucha, due to it striking a pose before attacking. Spiritomb, due to it holding a bunch of souls, much like the Necronomicon. Mismagius, due to essentially it just being a spooky ghost-type Pokemon. And Xatu, due to the Necronomicon, and not really knowing if it's from the past, if it's from the future, what exactly it is, having a Pokemon that can simultaneously see into both, I think is a pretty cool flex. So with that being said, Ash's team is Parasect, Honedge, Halucha, Spiritomb, Mismagius, and Xatu. Now, with Gabriel, honestly, there were a lot of similarities between Gabriel's team and the Singularities team. Check out prior videos if you are wanting to see that.
All right, here we go. This is going to be a long one, but...
That's what she said!
I was just about to start! Fricker, I love you!
I love you too!
Thank God. Gabriel Soma was born in a cloning hub on Proxima Centauri C, the first planet humanity colonized after a catastrophic nuclear war nearly ended humanity in the year 2098. He was part of a small crew that maintained and repaired the robots and androids sent to construct colonization hubs. Unbeknownst to Gabe, every memory of his childhood was implanted in his consciousness by those who cloned him. Like the rest of his crew, he believed he was born to human parents on Earth. Psychological stability was maintained by creating a narrative sequence of a loving family. None knew that they were, in fact, bred in a colonization hub. Gabriel's ship landed on Dvarka, a planet in a recently discovered solar system. The planet possessed great beauty: old growth forests and meadows covered in colorful flowers, placid lakes, wide rivers. Gabe could imagine living on a planet like this forever. The inspiring beauty and peaceful setting lulled the entire team into complacency, even Michael, the team security officer. Tragedy struck the crew when Michael was killed in an accident. According to Officer Sarah, the vehicle they were driving accelerated on its own, cutting out the brakes and losing power to the doors. Michael shot out Sarah's window so she could escape, but he wasn't so lucky. He was still inside when the vehicle launched itself off a cliff. That afternoon, they held a memorial, and that night, Gabriel had trouble falling asleep. Sometime in the night, he bolted awake, unable to breathe. His eyes grew wide as his breath grew short. He gagged as he tried to inhale. The power was out in the shelter, and there was no oxygen. Desperately, he stumbled forward through the dark corridors and only survived by manually opening an emergency door with the last of his strength. 6 of his fellow crew members weren't as lucky. With the life support and the ventilation system down, they suffocated in their beds. Only Dmitri, the medical officer, managed to survive as he had a tank of oxygen nearby, which he also used to save Sarah. Later that day, Gabe received a distress call from Sarah. The transmission ended abruptly, and Gabriel went looking for her. He found a blood trail that led to her headless and mutilated corpse near a half-built food hub. Gabe reasoned that there must be some sort of dangerous predator they missed in the initial scan of the area. Back at the colonization hub, he studied the logs in the main server to see if they missed anything on their initial recon. Instead, he found something even more troubling. One of the Hux A7s apparently took control of Michael's transport vehicle and shut down the life support system on the landing craft. Gabriel searched the compound for the errant Hux and found it in the cloning hub. The robot was covered in blood and held Sarah's head by the hair. The Hux apparently had extracted DNA and was using it to create what seemed to be a new body. Instantly, Gabe gave the robot an order that was ignored. A fight broke out between the two, and at the sound of the commotion, Dmitri rushed in to see the Hux approaching Gabe. He commanded the Hux to power off, but it turned and marched toward him as he yelled codes that were supposed to deactivate it. The Hux stared at the shouting officer for a moment, then punched a hole through his chest and pulled out his beating heart.
Oh!
Uh-huh. It's great.
Polymorph.
Yeah, pretty much. Dmitri fell dead, and the Hux extracted blood to add to its design. Gabe spotted a liquid hydrogen fuel tank and used a pipe to smash the valve open. The Hux distracted, he quickly escaped, striking the door with the pipe as he fled, creating a spark that ignited the fuel. The hub exploded in a fireball, blowing the Hux off its feet. Gabe raced into the forest. When he looked back, you're not supposed to look back, bro!
They always do.
Oh, God. Wasn't that cool? When he looked back, he saw the Hux emerge, burning, shrieking, deformed, terrible and wrathful like an ancient god. This was the singularity. The forest canopy kept out the light of the moon, and Gabe rushed into a thick, creeping fog before the Hux could find him. Gabriel Soma is a resourceful engineer ready to make the most out of any situation. His perks help him see things during a chase, gain endurance after healing survivors, and recharge his toolbox.
But with Gabriel, we gave him Porygon Z due to the fact that it was created in a lab. I hope I'm saying this right. Beheim, due to it being a pretty alien-looking type Pokemon, and with the connection of Area 51, I think that actually makes perfect sense. Ditto, again, due to it being created in a lab. Orbeetle, due to it having high intelligence and studying others, much like Gabriel would. Rotom, due to it being a technology-based Pokemon and having many forms. And then finally, Klinklang, due to it being the Metal Gear Pokemon. It's very likely that during his time, he spent time messing with gears, messing with different machines. So, with that being said, Gabriel's full team is going to be Porygon Z, Beheim, Ditto, Orbeetle, Rotom, and Klinklank. And from there, we're going to go ahead and move on to Laurie. Now, here's the problem. With Laurie, they went with the very first iteration of Laurie for the backstory, so I'm going to be honest. There wasn't a lot to go off of. Prepare for probably one of the shortest backstories that you are ever going to hear.
You absolutely ignored me.
What is that sound? It's so annoying.
It's like a high-pitched buzzing.
You could think of buzzing? It sounds like a burning.
Oh, no, wait, it sounds like a burning.
Bark. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
You never know what really matters in life until you've realized it might end soon. Laurie is one of those who just wants a quiet life in the suburbs, hanging out with friends, family, and maybe going on a date or two. Laurie is a typical teenager. You could pass her on the street and not think twice. She does her homework and is liked by her friends, teachers, and family. A simple night of babysitting turns into something that will forever change the course of her young life. A knife swooshing through the air, screams from afar, noises that play tricks with her mind. But not Laurie. She's made of something stronger, something that won't give up. The epitome of a survivor, Laurie Strode exemplifies determination in the face of pure evil. Even while being relentlessly pursued, she's able to muster the strength to fight back against all odds. Her perks grant her powerful survival abilities at the cost of leaving her exposed. They are tied to the killer's obsession and surviving, no matter what.
So with that being said, Laurie, I think the perfect team is Lycanroc due to her being the object of obsession with most of her perks, and Lycanroc literally goading enemies into attacking. Togekiss, due to it being an elusive Pokemon and sighting it has become rare, typically once you start targeting Lauries because they are the obsession, they'll become rare and or extinct. Delcatty, due to the Pokemon moving away constantly even while it's sleeping. Horsey, due to it constantly running from danger and escaping. Ninjask, due to it constantly darting around, hiding between movements. And finally, Bounsweet, due to it being a paranoid Pokemon and running away, it actually ends up attracting Pokemon in that process. So I think a good team for her, given the fact that we have to base it off just the fearful running away type, is Lycanroc, Togekiss, Delcatty, Horsey, Ninjask, and Bounsweet. So with that, we're done with another episode. And I definitely want to thank you all for continuing to watch this. We're now moving on into the Survivors full sprint. As I said, I hope that you enjoyed something like this. If there are other video games, anything like that you do want to see us cover, definitely go ahead, let me know in the comments. As a sneak peek, we have been giving an idea of something that we can go ahead and do in the future. I won't completely give it away. Actually, yes, I will. It's going to be probably based around The Lord of the Rings, because I have no self-control. So, with that, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, think about hitting the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.
I'm so excited.